The Brampton Battalion opened their 6th year in the league with a new captain, Ryan Bonus. The goaltending duties for 2003-04 were expected to be split by Brad Topping and Kevin Couture. Topping missed several games at the beginning of the season with mono. As a result, the battalion called up Darren McChesney from the Junior A Newmarket Hurricanes to back up Couture. On December 1st, the battalion sent Captain Ryan Bonus and a draft pick to the Oshawa Generals in exchange for another overage right-winger in Aaron Lobb and the rights to Lou Cecchino. The next day, Stan Butler announced fourth-year forward Chris Clayton as the team's captain. Brampton sat in the middle of the pack for the first 3 months of the season. From mid-December to mid-February, the battalion struggled to put the puck in the net. They won only 4 out of 21 games, dropping 10 games below 500 and falling to the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings. On January 8th, Brampton traded their goaltender, Brad Topping, to the Kitchener Rangers in exchange for Tyson Kellerman, another 19-year-old backstop. At the time of his departure, Topping held the battalion career and single-season goaltending records for games, minutes played, wins, and shutouts. Brampton finished the regular season by picking up points in 9 of their final 12 games and ended up tied for 4th in the Central Division with the Sudbury Wolves. The Troops entered the playoffs as the 7th seed and were matched up against the Ottawa 67s, who were led by Corey Locke, the OHL's scoring leader. In the opening game, Volsky opened the scoring less than a minute into the game. Brampton led 5-4 with less than 3 minutes left in the game before the 67s mounted their comeback. Corey Locke's third goal of the game proved to be the game winner. Ottawa would add an empty net goal to win 7-5. In Game 2, Locke opened the scoring, but Brampton replied late in the first. Despite firing 52 shots on 67's goaltender Lucas Mensator, the battalion found themselves headed to overtime with the score tied at 3. Then in Game 3, with the score tied late in the second period, Camille Krebs found the perfect time to score his first goal of the playoffs. With the series tied at 2, the battalion won on the road again as Camille Krebs potted 2 goals en route to a 4-2 win. Ottawa replied with a 5-3 victory in Game 6 in Brampton. In Game 7, Volsky netted 2 goals, including the game winner, as the battalion captured a 3-1 win and a series victory. Next up for the Troops were the St. Mike's Majors, who finished atop the Eastern Conference standings. The Majors captured the first 3 games of the second round series as the battalion managed to score only 4 goals. With Eric Schwantz, Aaron Lobb, Brock McPherson, and John Seymour all suffering injuries during the postseason, the battalion were unable to battle with the Majors and lost the series in 5 games.
I look at last year, we beat Ottawa in 7, and then we got 4 or 5 key injuries, and we tried to give St. Mike's a good goal, but with the guys we had out of the lineup, it was tough, and it was stuff that people in the stands don't know about.
At the OHL priority selection, the battalion picked up future captain John DeGray with the 6th overall pick. At the end of the season, Wojtek Volsky was named a first-team All-Star, and in June, he was chosen 21st overall by the Colorado Avalanche. Brampton opened the 2004-2005 campaign with a new captain, third-year forward Ryan Olahan.
He's more of a lead by example kind of guy. If I have to say something, I know when I have to, and I'll do that. And sometimes maybe he'll let me know. But yeah, usually we kind of feed off each other, talk to each other, and we know what's bothering each other. We can just read off each other like that. So,
first time I met Ryan, we were playing shinny against each other in the scrimmages here, and we actually almost got in a fight. So, that was a weird introduction to the guys that are going to be playing together for 3 years. But he's a great captain. Everybody follows his lead. When he says something, he means it, and even though he doesn't say too much too often. But when he says something, he's got something to say, and everybody listens to him, and that's what captain is all about.
It's a first-class organization from everything off the ice and on the ice. We got one of the best coaches in the league in Stan Butler, and one of the greater owners in the league in Scott Abbott. They know how to treat us like professionals and like adults, and you can't say enough good things about them.
Another big change to the team in 04-05 was the addition of right-winger Lou Cecchino, a high-flying forward who found a place playing alongside Wojtek Volsky.
Paired with Wojtek Polski, Lou Ciaquino was the hands and Wojtek Polski was the eyes. Those two guys worked some magic together.
Luch is an interesting guy. I mean, Kevin Burkett, who coached at Wexford for years, was my assistant coach for years. And I mean, he coached Luch there and spoke very highly of Luch. And I mean, I've watched Luch play since he was a little wee boy. And his dad and I go back to playing baseball against each other when we were 12 or 13 years old. So there's a long history between me and the Aquino family. And
despite being one of the younger teams in the league, the Battalion started the season by gaining points in 9 of their first 11 games. By mid-season, they were among the leaders in the Eastern Conference.
Well, I think when you have a young team, there's a huge teaching curve, and as a teacher, as a former teacher, you don't really know how far they'll go with that curve. And I mean, our guys have been great. They've really picked it up and they've listened and they've come a long way that way. And I think as a result of the way our young players have developed, finding some goal scoring from people that we didn't expect to find it from, and for the most part, consistent goaltending has put us in a position that we can compete on most nights.
Among the young players on the team was rookie netminder Darren McChesney, who shared the goaltending duties throughout the season with Kevin Couture. By season's end, both players had winning records and almost identical stats in games played, wins, losses, shutouts, goals against average, and save percentage.
Kevin realizes that both him and Darren are extremely good goalies, and I basically just said to Kevin that you both get your opportunities, and when you get them, it's a performance-based system.
With the NHL in the middle of a season-ending lockout, hockey fans started to migrate towards the OHL. A rise in league attendance that year could also be attributed to the record-setting London Knights, who filled hockey arenas wherever they went.
That London Knights team was probably the best assembled club in the OHL that year. They were head and shoulders above anybody else in the OHL that year and came off a difficult campaign the year before. That night here in the Brampton Centre at the time was probably the biggest night for the Battalion as far as the fans and the atmosphere next to game number 1.
On February 17, 2005, over 4,800 fans filled the Powerade Center to see the Battalion take on the eventual Memorial Cup champions in a spirited game that resulted in a 4-2 win for the Knights. Brampton had 4 players with at least 25 goals in the regular season, including a team-high 31 by Tyler Harrison, as the Battalion finished the regular season with 33 wins and 77 points. That was good enough for 4th in the Eastern Conference and a first-round matchup with Mike Foligno's Sudbury Wolves. The Wolves were able to steal Game 1 of the series in Brampton with a 3-2 overtime victory, and the Battalion could not recover. They failed to win a game in Sudbury and were eliminated in 6 games. When the season ended, one of the biggest question marks surrounding the team was whether Stan Butler, the only head coach in team history, would be re-signed, as his contract was set to expire.
I really enjoyed here. I like it here. I don't have any aspirations right now of leaving. I mean, and obviously in those situations, that's up to the ownership. But I'm happy here. I'd like to be the coach of the Brampton Battalion when we win our first OHL championship, when we go to the Memorial Cup. I mean, that would be special.
On May 4th, Scott Abbott ended any speculation by signing him to a new 4-year contract, ensuring that Butler would remain with the team through the 2008-09 season. In May 2005, Battalion owner Scott Abbott was inducted into the Brampton Sports Hall of Fame in the Builder category.
Well, it is a great honor. I can't say as how I knew this was going to be where we'd be tonight when we started out with an interest in hockey at the Tier 2 level with the Calgary Canadians and whatnot, but we decided to try to get an OHL team too, and got one in Brampton. And it's been wonderful the way the community has embraced the team and me, and I'm very honored to be selected.
I think it's well deserved him getting into the Hall of Fame. The patience that he's shown here as an owner to allow the fan base and that to grow here is unbelievable. And I know for the most part the people of Brampton appreciate what he's done and done for the people. But I think it's great now that they've honored him and put him in a Hall of Fame where he really deserves.